I really hope this thing doesn't burn my house down. There's one more thing that I'm missing. Happy Valentine's Day. This is the Valentine's Day special on the channel. I figured, I post every Saturday. Why not take advantage of the fact that Valentine's Day this year is going to fall on a Saturday. So this is going to be different than my normal videos. So I figured why not pull it back from the desk, take a seat on the couch, just to kind of signify the change in the format of video. If you're going to be spending this day the same way I will be, which is just doing nothing and playing video games, then I'm here to make you feel a little less dreadful about your loneliness, and to show you that sometimes being lonely on Valentine's Day isn't the worst thing in the world. And, if you're planning on spending this day with a special someone, having a wonderful romantic evening together, making beautiful memories, just appreciating each other for everything you've done for the past however long you've been together, then keep that shit to yourself. But yes, today it's gonna be a little bit of a different video. As you can tell, I'm sitting on my couch, which is normally in the background. I figured why not make us all feel better about being alone this Valentine's Day, and to find some of the worst stories from Valentine's Day the internet has to offer, and share them with you beautiful people. So credit to Smosh Reads Reddit stories and Two Hot Takes, because they're the main people I know who read Reddit stories. These aren't just from Reddit. I found a couple off BuzzFeed article too. Point being is that Valentine's Day by yourself is a little depressing. So I'm here to show you that sometimes being with someone is just as bad. I can't actually see without these ones, so if I want to be able to read, I kind of need to be able to see. Let's start with our first story here. I'm pretty sure I just got this one off of Reddit. When I was a sophomore in college, I met a guy named Chris. That's what we'll call him. At a party. Most of these stories use fake names for the people, and if not, I'll just use a fake name because it's kind of weird just putting someone's real name out there. He was tall, handsome, funny, and the president of his fraternity. Chris and I exchanged numbers, and then after a few days back and forth, we agreed on a Valentine's Day date. He promised a very fun, romantic day. I expressed how excited I was for our date together, because I had recently been dumped by my ex of 2 years. I was dressed to the nines with immaculate 2017 era makeup, which meant I spent hours getting ready. When Chris picked me up, he looked at me with a confused expression and asked why I was so dolled up. I don't really love that term. He then stated he had plans for us to play tennis together. Tennis. I begrudgingly changed my clothes and embarked to the tennis court, which was located in a gated community. I had never played tennis before, and to no one's surprise, I was not good at tennis. For some reason, this upset Chris, who stated that his ideal girlfriend would be good at tennis. I already felt such ick and started planning my escape via text messages to my friends. After many failed attempts at teaching me how to play tennis, Chris asked if I was hungry and said he would take me to somewhere nice to eat. He took me to Chili's, where he tried to order my food for me, a salad, and paid our bill with a gift card his dad had given him for Christmas. Thankfully, my friends made it to Chili's and waited for me in the parking lot. I excused myself from the table, pretended to go to the bathroom, and then booked it into my best friend's car. We laughed about the ordeal for weeks until one night I saw Chris at a party. He ran up to me and said, "Sarah, I thought I'd never see you again." My name isn't Sarah. I mean, what a home run to start it off with. Took you to a tennis date and didn't tell you you were playing a sport, so you just dressed nicely to go play tennis, which is real unfortunate. Tried to order food for you, which is really funny. And it reminds me of that scene from White Chicks, where it's like, she'll have the salad. But hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with paying with a gift card, man. There's nothing wrong with being resourceful. He had that gift card since Christmas. It's been a couple months. He probably just needed to use it. I assume that's also why he brought you to Chili's, which, now that I'm connecting the dots, it's kind of an asshole move, because he's like, oh, we'll go somewhere nice to eat. And then he kind of like shuffled in his wallet. He's like, boom, I have a gift card to Chili's. Let's go. But it only gets worse from here, really. I try to organize these in not only length, but of how bad they are. Some of these are pretty depraved shit. I really want to make you feel better about being alone on Valentine's Day. And if you're here with someone else, then I guess thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me third wheel. Alright, first, second story. Again, I took all these off of Reddit and like one BuzzFeed article. In high school, I went out for Valentine's Day with my then boyfriend. We had been dating for almost a year, but this was the first time we ever really went anywhere. Typical high school relationship, I guess. So we got dinner, and right before we left, we exchanged presents. I was going to a fine arts school and had made him something in class that I was proud of and hid a gift card to a store he loved inside. He gave me one of those $5 stuffed animals from Walgreens and just threw it at me with no card or anything. Walgreens is like Shoppers Drug Mart, but in the States. After that, we walked to the car. He almost took up the entire sidewalk, so I tried to walk through the mushy grass in heels. I fell in the mud, practically ruined my dress, and he laughed at me. The worst part is that he didn't even take the present I worked so hard to make for him. He accidentally left it at my house when he dropped me off. I still have it too. Oh my god. If someone goes through the trouble, I guess not trouble, if someone takes the time to make something for you, no matter how beautiful or ugly it is, if it's handcrafted and they took the time to make something for you, just take it. Whether you want it or not. Oh my god, that is rough. I can't lie, I would probably laugh at someone if they like fell in the mushy grass while I was like walking out of a restaurant, especially in February when the snow's melting. I mean, I guess in some places here it snows till like April. But when the snow's melting and you get that gross grass and then you just fall and slip in it, I'm sorry, I would definitely laugh at someone. Like if I had worked so long to make a physical, I'm assuming it's a painting. I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's a painting. It's a fine art school. Could have been a sculpture. I'm not sure. But if I took the time to make something and even like had a little gift card in it to a place someone loved, and then they accidentally forgot it at my house, I would never do anything for anyone ever again in my entire life. That is brutal. I feel so bad for this person that this guy and like a little $5 plush. I know exactly what they're talking about. Like it's probably like that big, and they're just like, here you go, happy Valentine's Day. Are you gonna pay for this food, by the way? I mean, I've only read 2 stories so far. I have 9 of them, and I'm already feeling a little bit better about doing absolutely nothing with nobody on Valentine's Day this year. And sometimes that's good. 3 years ago, on February 15th, I woke up next to my husband in bed. Something told me to check his phone, so I did. I checked his email and discovered he had made plans to have lunch with his mistress at a top steakhouse. I also discovered he was going to take the day off the day before my birthday to spend with her. I already knew about the affair, but he told me he had ended it. Checking his phone was part of an agreement we came to in the name of transparency. Barf. I was in parentheses. That day it all blew up. His family found out about the affair. My family found out. We told our kid we were getting divorced, and she and I were moving out of state without him. So, yeah, that's my Valentine's Day story. But hey, I'm way better and happier now. Time and distance really does heal wounds. Hope others will have a great Valentine's Day this year. It ended on a happy ending. You know, what more could you ask for? But wow, that is that's rough. The day after Valentine's Day, you wake up next to your husband who's already been cheating on you. You knew about this affair and you're like, "You know what? I'm going to check his phone because we made a deal." And you're like, "Holy this guy is just absolutely whining and dining his side piece." Good for her for ending it. Like, I don't know. I think if anyone had an affair, it'd be pretty hard to just kind of keep living with them. But if you include the fact that like they have a kid together, it would be hard too because like you don't want to separate a kid from its parents. But when it's in the name of you've cheated on me multiple times and you've lied to me, I mean, you kind of have to. That really does suck because I could imagine having like an awesome Valentine's Day, and then the day after I wake up and I'm like, let's see what this guy's been doing on his email, and it's just his side piece. It's like, yo, we going out to dinner tonight or what? At this nice ass steakhouse. I would be pissed, dude. And it seems she was because like her whole family found out about it, which is also pretty embarrassing because if it's the second time you've realized that he's still cheating on you, you'd be like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. As I read more of these stories too, I'm remembering that it's just all men who have been like really weird and who have been assholes. Like it's never been like, yeah, a girl stood me up for a date and then I don't know, I got hit by a car. Yeah, I couldn't really find that many unfortunate like gay stories, which maybe just shows that gay relationships are stronger than straight ones. Alrighty, let's continue. Mail here. When I was a freshman in college, my parents decided they wanted to come visit me the weekend of Valentine's Day and wanted me to come out and meet them in the city for dinner that night. I was a little pissed as I wanted to go get drunk at a bar somewhere and take advantage of all the single, lonely ladies looking for some love. But oh well.
This guy stinks!
Oh, that is a rough sentence. Can you tell this was written like 10 years ago? So I'm in the city with my parents, and we had some time to kill until a dinner reservation when my mom suggests we go to a bar across the street and have some drinks. We go across the street and find a table and sit down. My mom immediately gets up to go to the bathroom, and my dad leaves the bar to go check in with the restaurant. I start looking around and observe my surroundings and realize 3 things in this order. 1. There is not a single girl in here. 2. Why are all the guys staring at me? 3. Oh shit. My parents left me alone in a gay bar on Valentine's Day. One of the guys comes over and asks how I was doing. I ignored him, waited for my mom to get out of the bathroom, grabbed her coats, and left. It's still a family story to this day. Hey Seagull, which was his Reddit username. Remember that time we left you in a gay bar on Valentine's Day? Okay, that's awesome. Like, I genuinely, these parents are cool. I would die laughing if I went to my hometown or wherever my parents lived and they're like, hey, like, let's go out for dinner this Valentine's Day. I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And they did all that just to prank me into going to a gay bar by myself, which, like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with going to a gay bar, but I can see how it'd be funny if it's like a straight dude going into a gay bar and then realizing that he's in a gay bar. I actually really like this story. It's a bit more wholesome than the other ones, you know. This guy who's planning on just spending Valentine's Day alone, and I don't really want to repeat what he said, but going to a bar and kind of getting blasted, and instead his parents played a funny old goof on him, and it turned into a nice family memory, you know. I figured that one was a bit of a palate cleanser because the next ones we have here aren't great. All right, this next one just starts in like the middle of the story. He first approached me in a bar. He was 2 years younger than me at the time, in his early 20s. I didn't have the skills to put up healthy boundaries, so I often ended up speaking to people even if I didn't particularly want to. At first, I thought I'd be polite, as I kind of felt almost sorry for them, but eventually I just wanted them to leave me alone. We never dated properly, just went out for a couple of meals. My friend persuaded me that if I met them one last time, they would leave me alone, which in hindsight was very naive of me. I met him, and that's when he showed me what he'd got. My name tattooed on his chest as a present for me for Valentine's Day. When I said I didn't like it, he took that as rejection and got angry, posting loads of fake stuff about me all over the internet. I actually felt physically sick that they had taken something very personal from me by having my name tattooed on his chest. I felt that in some way he had part of me on him. In fact, it upset me so much that years later I changed my name. Oh my god. That is brutal. I mean, she said this guy was in his like early 20s, which to me is still way too old to be like I'm going to tattoo this girl's name on my chest as a present to her. Which like I mean that's probably very abusive. It's like possessive because it's like look at I like you're mine. I have your name on my chest. You belong to me. It's very scary too that like as a rejection he just started posting a bunch of on the internet because like people believe on the internet way too quickly than they should. I even understand why she changed her name. Like, my name's Alston. I've never met another Alston. It's a very unique name. And if someone I didn't even like that much got my name tattooed on their chest to show how much they care for me or they want to be with me, I can understand feeling physically sick. I mean, I feel like you'd have to feel guilt for that too. Like, I'd feel bad. I'd be like, damn, does this person really like me that much that they're gonna get my name tattooed on their chest? I mean, good for them for like setting boundaries because, I mean, honestly, it's a bit of a epic as if Homer himself was one to write this. You know, I was naive. I couldn't put up boundaries. He said, "Stop. I don't like that tattoo." You even changed your name, which is really gross. That like something so personal to you, which is your name, and it's like someone else claims it. I hope their name was something like Fantasia, like a very not common name, and then this dude just has Fantasia tattooed on his chest, or he gets it like changed to just say like Fanta, a little soda bottle. I'm kind of disappointed by this next one because the first line of it was posting so I can remember to come back, and this was posted 4 years ago. So unless they're really just waiting a long time, I don't think they're ever gonna come back and finish the story. But I'll read what they did write, which is most of the story, but it's kind of paraphrased. My crack addicted mother in law was so furious that my husband gave me Valentine's Day and birthday gifts that she demanded he give them all to her instead. Then, when told no, she plotted all night, busted in at about midnight while we were naked having sex, and robbed him at knife point for his car. Then cried he didn't chase her and instead moved in with me. She tried to demand I kick him out, and I told her she had less than 24 hours to return his car, or we were pressing charges, and sent a copy of the video I took of her stealing the keys and car. She parked it in my driveway and literally ran away fearful because she knew if I got my hands on her, I was going to beat her ass. She had never been told no or handled before. This one's a two-pager, aka I printed it across 2 pages. Obviously, we went no contact, and years later, when she tried her again, I finally did get to beat her ass for trying to break in and kidnap my kid. She finally and died a year later, still on permanent no contact. Parentheses, I'll add full story later. Oh my god. Yeah, full transparency. They mentioned Valentine's Day once. I really just wanted to add it because when I was done reading this for the first time, my jaw was on the floor. This person sounds insane. I mean, I'm very sorry that they passed away, but it seems like this author was rejoicing. Just the fact that they dropped that so nonchalantly and the amount of crazy shit in this story, just beat for beat for beat, really makes me mad that they never came back to post the full story. Because I would have been sitting here, edge of my seat, bucket of popcorn on my lap, just ready to read this story. I'm glad that, they got to live happily ever after. Honestly, I'd probably beat someone's ass too if they tried to steal my kid. I don't have a kid. The closest thing I have to a kid is my dog. And honestly, I don't know why someone would want to steal my dog. She kind of sucks. Coming to the last three stories here. Two of them are pretty short, so I'll knock those guys out first, and then I'll finish with a bang. First one here. Here's my Valentine's Day story. Got drunk and masturbated twice.
My man.
Maybe that's what some of you guys will be doing this weekend. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. All day, you spend the whole day getting drunk, then you twice. Why spend this day with someone you love, even if you don't have a Valentine's, with a friend, when you got two hands and a phone? I mean, yeah, you could just it. Okay, that one was pretty short. This one is also very short, but I don't think I've ever read like a more impactful 3 sentences in my life. He gave me a card with a condom inside that said he wanted to taste my sweat and feel my moans. I was 16. We met in our school's purity club. I found out he was in the club to look good on his college resume. Wow, that's like the plot graph of a Shakespeare play. Rising action, whatever else, climax, falling action, conclusion. Starts off with the card with the condom inside. Already, stop. That's pretty bold, especially if you're not already dating. 2, it said he wanted to taste my sweat and feel my moans. Already, I'm imagining that that's the only thing written in the card, which is really funny. I was 16. Bomb. Immediately. I don't know how old this guy was. I'm going to assume he was like 17 or 18. Since we met in our school's purity club, I'm assuming it's high school. That's insane. A 16-year-old receiving that card. I would die. I genuinely think that would take like 30 years off my life. Also, the purity club. I mean, that just speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything about that. And I found out he was there in the club to look good on his college resume. Well, he obviously wasn't there to celebrate purity. I think we all know that. Oh my god. I mean, that one's like a little firework, You set it off, it goes up, boom. Super intense, super quick, super beautiful. I don't know about beautiful. Super fascinating. And then it's gone. It's done. No more information. No names. Nothing else. Just, here I'm gone. Alright, folks. Our last story today. Let's get into it. I have a very f***ed up story. Sorry if it doesn't make sense. English isn't my first language. A year ago, my best friend at the time and I were single. We went to a local forest to drink vodka and listen to music. You could do that instead of going out with someone through this Valentine's Day. Take inspiration from this. Maybe don't cheat on your wife and give a 16-year-old a sex card. Take inspiration from this specific story. We were kind of in a deep part of the forest, like in between some bushes. We were chilling. We see a guy behind the bushes that appeared to be running. The guy was in a surf suit. I don't know what they called in English at all. I'm pretty sure it means like a swimsuit with like a shirt and a bottom. And he started taking his shirt off. Before he took off the bottom part, he notices us and starts talking to us in a really creepy manner, might I add. He asks if we want a threesome. We said no, and we were really visibly uncomfortable. Then he tells us he was really excited because he would finally be able to fulfill his fantasy of masturbating in front of 2 girls in the forest. Ugh. He then takes off his bottom part, revealing us his dick. We started running, and he started yelling, but we couldn't hear him once we were away. We were so in shock that it was only till we got home that we realized how f***ed up that was. We were so scared we never went back to that forest ever again. Can't really blame you for that one. Now, believe it or not, I'm not a female, but I would be scared shitless if I was in the forest with my friend and I just saw a dude. This guy wouldn't have to do anything. This guy could be 100 meters away, and I would still be terrified because I'd be like, yo, there's a fucking dude in the middle of this forest. What is he doing here? But considering where I live, he's probably a meth head and just wants drugs, which, I mean, forest would be a pretty cool place to chill out then. I'm assuming this is a place that doesn't really have winter because they're in a forest in February, and you would be really goddamn cold if you were in a forest in February. But the point that's important, this guy was 100% on some type of drugs, and he was at least not conscious. Because in what world do you go up to 2 women in a forest and you're like, hey, I have a crazy proposition for you. Let's have a threesome. We should have never invented the word threesome. That word should not be a part of the English lexicon. That is a disgusting word. And also, like, the fact that he was like, man, I could have fulfilled my fantasy of masturbating in front of 2 women in the forest, which is 2 stories now that have the word masturbation in it. And that's just also, like, a very weird word. Like, just say off if you're going to talk about masturbation. I gotta mute all of this shit. I don't know what I'm going to put up instead of saying all this shit, but I can't be talking about But that is totally a story I would tell everyone I knew about. I'd be like, dude, guess what I did this Valentine's Day? Go out on a date with an actual woman? Hell no. I got offered to be in a by a crackhead, and then I saw his dick. That is a good Valentine's Day. It is funny, while reading all of these Valentine's Day stories, I like willed myself to remember a random Valentine's from when I was a little kid. So I figured I'd share it with you all to show that I've had some rough Valentine's days too. I remember in like grade 7, I want to say grade 7 or 8, I don't know. I was like 12 or 13 years old at the time. And I remember we had to cut out these like paper dolls, draw them to look like ourselves, and write our name on them. And we'd stick it to a cabinet or something in the class. And then you'd take your name, write it on a heart, and cut that out. And you did that however many times. You had a bunch of little paper hearts. And you'd go around the class and you'd use glue and you'd stick the hearts onto everyone's name or whoever you wanted to. Pretty simple. And everyone had like three or four. It was probably a class of like 20 kids. and, and mine had none on it. I had none. I remember no one put their shit on mine. And I don't remember if I didn't give a shit or I tried to act like I didn't give a shit and I was actually devastated. But considering I was in like grade 7, I'm pretty sure I was heartbroken and I didn't want to like say anything. And I don't think it was until my friends realized and they had to be like, "Yo guys, go put stuff on Alston's doll," until I started getting some and I ended up having like close to the most out of anyone in the class. But I that zapped into my head the other day because I was like, "Oh my god, that was so funny that no one fucking gave me a Valentine's." Because you're like in grade 7. You're supposed to be like, "Oh yeah, like everyone's my friend." And they're like, "I'm not giving that guy Valentine's." Which, like, to be fair, there were probably other kids in the class who had it, but I remember having that thought and being like, "No one likes me." For the outro today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm not gonna do the black screen with music. There'll still be a video here that I want you to watch that I think is pretty good, and if my channel right here if you want to subscribe. But I just want to thank you for watching. Wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and leave in the comments what your plans are for this Valentine's Day, because I am interested in knowing. And I want to thank you too for supporting my channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers. Again, I'm still niche, so hit that subscribe button while I am niche. But I do appreciate it. It's really fun making these videos. It's like I do it out of passion. I don't do it for any money because I'm not allowed to make money off this yet. Yet is a keyword. I want to keep doing this. But yeah, I just want to thank you for watching the videos. To all my friends who watch the videos, to any of my family members, 20 people who I know through like work or something. It's a lot of fun doing this, and I'm glad I can spread laughs and make everyone a bit happier. Because right now there's a lot of politics in the world. And it is like a lot just seeing shit with like the Epstein files and stuff. But I kind of just want to come on here and just spread some joy, spread some laughs. And I do really wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. And I'm very, very thankful that you all watch my silly little videos. So yeah, have a good day. She think I went out with the boys for Valentine's Day, but I've been sipping on that pep the whole time.